fantastic. Take a seat, Nancy.
Stunning today.
Thank you, darling.
Yeah. You look alright. Alright.
Look alright, don't it, babes?
You're alright.
Yeah. Anyway, beautiful women, thank you for every single person who's come every single week. And I describe it, I have like my cozy group. And we all get cozy, we all get personal, we have our oohs and our ahs. And thank you for sharing in my journey as I bring astrology to the masses. It's part of my heart, part of my dharma, so it's really important. And as I said, I plan to do new and full moon readings in public. But tonight is our last taster session. So we've covered Barack Obama, Victoria Beckham, and whose chart is this anyway? Whose chart is this anyway? So before we kick off, if we just want to do a round of hellos. Ta-da!
Hello, I'm Kenny, back for my third week. Sad I couldn't make it for my second week. And very excited to know this amazing skill. And I think I'm quite skilled at what I do anyway, so I don't know if I can actually. I think
she's very skilled. This is midwife.
This is Bybreen. This is amazing and really fascinating, and I get very excited about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And she's now on Twitter, so it's like we just treated you very well. So she joined us. Welcome, Kenny. Great.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Ruby. This is my second time for the taster. I'm really looking forward to seeing who this person is. I'm feeling masculine energy coming through.
Bring it on. Okay, and
Hi everyone, I'm Bansi. I'm the founder of Love, Light and Good Vibes. I am an intuitive healer and reader, and it's my second week here, and
I like the kind of description.
hello, my name's Noor, and I am curious.
Again.
I am curious, yeah, no. And I think it's your energy that's also brought me back.
Oh, that's really gracious of you. Thank you.
I just really loved the first session, and you've got so much knowledge, but in a way that is really generous. And so, yeah, I just want to.
Thank you so much.
It's generous, but it's also genuine.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very genuine. There's nothing false.
No.
Yeah, I've got
there's no faces.
No.
And you speak from your truth.
Yeah.
And your truth is your knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's very strong.
Very strong.
Very strong.
Agreed. I'm very, very.
Okay, whose chart is this anyway? So Ruby's had a stab. I mean, I like it. People just rush out the gate.
Leave the gate open.
No bars held back for our Ruby. So I'm going to start note taking. Let's start note taking. Because Ruby thinks she's off to a flying start.
Yeah.
And we'll find out if she is correct. Oh,
you can only get sorry. What?
it's all right.
It's not male, it's got to be female.
That's right. Yeah, but I love the kind of hands. It's like, oh, I feel strong male energy.
Let's go.
Right, so we have first up, could be a man.
That's right.
Right, what makes you think that, Ruby? Was it just an instinctive thing where you felt,
Like last week, it's instinctive, but there's something of the blue marker that you use that jumped out at me, that just, because it's so strong, I don't know, I just felt something masculine about it.
Okay.
Maybe the person might be female but has quite a masculine characteristics about her. But yeah.
So let's go through the keyhole.
No
Starters for 10. Okay, so as you know, what we're trying to reconcile is the triad. Okay, so as lovely Noor indicated from her own chart, she now has a sense of the hemispheres. So let's look at this chart. So we've got the North Node, Chiron, in the first house. We have Venus, Sun, Mercury in the second, and we have Jupiter in the sixth. So the points of the chart, we've got the North Node, which is always powerful. So we've got 1, I'll count those two as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then if we look at the upper hemisphere, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the way that it's weighted is that you will give the sun and the moon, because they're luminaries, 3 points. Okay, so you're trying to get to as many, whichever has the highest will show you the hemispheric balance in the chart. Okay, so we have the sun in the lower, but we have the moon, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'll count the MC, 7, 8, 9. And then if we have the ascendant, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's a chart that's in the upper hemisphere. What could this tell us about this person? Any ideas? Who can remember in terms of the elemental split?
Oh,
Yeah.
extrovert.
Right, okay, so this person draws from the external world, okay?
Okay.
Having said that, 3 of this person's personal planets, Venus, Sun and Mercury, are in the lower half of the chart, which is an indication that as much as this person is externally facing, there is something quite private about them. We'll keep unfolding the chart. Okay, so this person has Sagittarius as the ascendant. It's a fire sign. So we have ascendant, Sag. We have the sun in Aquarius. And we have the moon in fire. It's in Sag again. So the triad, remember we're going, this time we're going to go here and we're coming down here. Look at the elements, fire and air. Is there a sense of coherence possibly with this person?
Yes,
Yeah, because
they're compatible.
they're compatible. There's a compatibility in terms of their core identity, their emotional expression, and the face they give the world. Okay? How can we tell that this person has a mass impact on the world?
Is it because they're upper hemisphere? Because you were saying that they draw from the external world.
They do draw from the external world. Oh, you weren't here last week.
No.
So, Fancy, do you remember? Ruby, do you remember?
No, I think, what's that house? Which is
This
that
one here.
That one.
Yeah. You're right, it was this house.
Oh,
Planets in the 12th house.
right.
Okay, so on the one hand, planets in the 12th house, remember you've come right the way through the astrological houses, meaning the different areas of life, you've come home to yourself, so there's this sense of a retentiveness, withdrawn, reflection. It's the natural house of Pisces, so what you're looking to do is sort of transcend your everyday mundanities, because the natural house, Pisces, would be ruled by Neptune, so it's about a spiritual awakening. That is one face of the 12th house. The other face of the 12th house is the mass, the public. Planets in the 12th house give an indication. Do you remember Barack Obama?
Yes.
Remember all the prime ministers, and I said they had Saturn in the...
That's right.
That's it. Yeah?
Yes.
So, and planets in the 12th house... Yes, go ahead.
So, if you have a birth chart and that person doesn't have anything in their 12th house, does that mean that they're not likely to make a major impact in their life? Or they're
No.
not?
No, that doesn't mean that. It's just a significator,
Okay.
yeah, because there are different ways that you can see impact. This person has it signatured in quite a strong way. Okay? So this person has the moon in the 12th house of Sagittarius at 4 degrees. So 4 degrees is equal to Cancer. What do you associate with the sign Cancer?
Emotions.
Emotion. Great. So we've got emotions. Yeah. What else? What about the moon?
Homemakers, aren't they?
Okay. Homemaker.
Very affected by the moon.
Homemaker. What else is associated with the moon?
Water.
Feminine.
Feminine. Yes.
Yeah.
Feminine. Yeah. What else? Don't try so hard, my friend. That's training.
That's my thinking phase. Yeah.
Is it something to do with cycles?
Cycles, yes, but not necessarily in this context.
Okay.
What's the moon associated with? Who is the moon associated with? Mothering,
Oh. Yeah.
nurturing,
Yeah.
yeah, nourishing,
Yeah.
yeah. So this person has their moon in a house that suggests they could have a massive impact on the whole world
Yes.
because it's Jupiter. Their moon is in Jupiter, which is reflective of the world.
Yeah.
And it's reflective of the globe because it's the 12th house. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Any ideas that are like a ding, ding, ding?
So
Not yet.
it's not male. Has that been ruled out because of the
No, because men still have moons. Yeah. So the planets, irrespective of gender, are always the same. They don't change. Okay?
I guess it could, I mean, it could be, I'm not necessarily getting that it's a masculine energy, but like, it could be a masculine that's more in their feminine energy, right?
Right? Yeah, that could be an explanation. But it's not. Okay, so let's look at another clue. How can we tell this person has experienced clashes with power or has had their power challenged in quite a profound way? So, let me indicate. We have Pluto. Pluto is a planet that's associated with power. Pluto here is in the 8th house. So hold on, let's just mark this out so that everybody can see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got it wrong like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So Pluto,
So they always go in that order. So
yes, you will always count it this way.
So that M is what's
First
that's
house.
first house.
First house
Is
Capricorn.
okay. All right.
Okay, so this person has experienced a real, their power has been impacted on. So let's stick with this house. The 8th house is the house of the occult, other people's resources, because 2nd house is, this is what I own, my talents, my skills, my resources. The 8th house is about other people, it could be investments, it could be legacies, it's about the occult, it's about sex and power and desires, urges. Pluto rules the 8th house naturally. So Pluto is in the house it rules. It's forming a square. In fact, there's a T-square. Mars is squaring Pluto and it's squaring Mercury. So just imagine it looks like this, Mars, and we've got Mercury here, and we've got Pluto here. So we have Mercury is exalted, meaning it's in the sign it is the most potent in, it's in Aquarius. So what could this say about the person? Their Mercury is in a really exalted position. Come in, my love. Hello. Yeah? Their Mercury is in a really exalted position.
So did they use their voice quite?
Perfect. Right? So this is a person that uses their voice. Really uses their voice. Okay?
So to this person,
No. But that's a really good choice. Yeah.
did were they famous for, like, were they in a career where it was predominantly like voice using?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the career, so we can put career here. Yeah. So let's stick with this T-square, because when you've got a T-square, it's the tension, okay? So the focal planet, being Mars, is trying to balance the two planets that are in opposition, okay? So you have an opposition, and then you have a T, okay? And the planet that's at the apex is trying to mediate these two. But let's break this down some more, because Mars is in Scorpio, and it's the co-ruler of Scorpio with Pluto. And Pluto is in the natural house it rules. So here, where you've got a square, it's like an inner combustion, it's like a real tension point, there's a clash, there's something. And they're both power, they're both dealing with power. And the reason why the Mars is in a stronger position is because it's in their sign it rules. So it's a co-ruler, and it's in the sign it rules, and it's squaring the other co-ruler.
Yeah.
So here is somebody who I would say their power at some point in their life has been infringed upon. And as a result of the infringement, it has led to a universal transformation of that infringement. Hence why this person uses their voice.
So would you say they're an activist?
That could be it. I'm going to write that down. Yes, I will take that. This person could be certainly seen as an activist.
Is it a politician?
No. No, it's not a politician in the way that we understand politicians. Is she a
Actress.
It's a she, so I've just said it's a she. Is it an actress?
Yeah.
Yes, that's one of the things she does. Yes. So let's put the pieces together. A woman who has had her power infringed upon in quite a profound way that led to a major vocalization of the infringement. We've got two power players, both representing men. Look at some more clues.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at some more clues. All right. As Ruby pointed out, this blue triangle. It's like, what is this blue triangle? It's a trine. Okay, I've represented it here in red, but it's a trine. And trines are where there's an easier flow of energy, and it's a trine in air. And the trine involves three of the planets trining the MC, like the career part of the chart, where they are most visible in the world, trining Jupiter in the 6th house of work. So let's point out the signs first. We have Aquarius, the collective, the world. We have Jupiter representing the world again, but Jupiter is about abundance. Remember Victoria Beckham's chart last week when we were talking about she had Venus conjunct Jupiter. This person is exceptionally wealthy. The configuration is different from Victoria Beckham, but she is exceptionally wealthy.
Is this person alive?
Yes, alive.
Angelina Jolie.
No, I was going to do her chart, but it's not Angelina tonight.
Is she brown?
Brownish.
Oh,
Yeah, yes, Oprah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's Oprah's chart.
I
Yes.
just stepped into the room and I was going to say that.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
let's break down, let's really dig into her chart. As the whole world knows, she was sexually abused.
Yes.
Pluto, here's a signature. So don't rush and think, oh, I've got that in my chart. Relax. We know it because she's expressed it with the world, to the world. I'm reflecting it back in her chart.
Yes.
Mars is squaring Pluto.
Yeah.
They are two power figures.
Yeah.
Scorpio and Pluto. Pluto's about deep transformation and about power. It's in the house it naturally rules, which is, as I said, sex. But forced sex. It's a square. Yeah? It's a square. The way, you know, she's expressed her life, she has turned it into her mission because Mercury is opposing Pluto. So she is somebody who has the ability to speak about taboo issues.
Yeah.
So comfortably, so confidently, and coming from personal experience. And right around the world, because Mercury is in Aquarius. Aquarius is about collective. But how do we know she's really rich? In a way that's differently signatured to Victoria Beckham. She has Venus, the Sun, and Mercury in the second house. The second house is associated with your natural skills, talents, what you value, the things that you really value. And it's about how you use these natural skills, resources and talents to generate money. It's forming a trine to the MC. So she uses her natural resources. She's just herself.
Yeah. Totally.
She has built a whole empire on herself. That's it. You know, what does Oprah sell? She sells herself.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it, I've never looked at it like that, but yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
She's known for selling
She is,
herself.
Yeah. I mean, Oprah, she is a brand, but breaking it down like you've just done it, I've never thought about it as that is what she's selling. Yes, she's selling herself, but like all that.
This,
Yeah.
she uses her voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's talking about women.
Yeah.
The moon is sextiling. Yeah, so we've got, so the moon here, I'm just going to go right the way down the middle. The moon is sextiling, so we have the moon, feminine, Venus, feminine, the sun, masculine, i.e. the ego, the core identity, and we have Mercury using voice. So she is an advocate. She was known initially as an advocate, championing women
Yes.
and girls.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah? So she's got this definitive, it's a sextile, she does it easily. But it's the second house, where she's got 3 of her personal planets. She sells herself and a message. She has Mercury exalted for the collective. Yeah?
Yes.
Talking about taboo issues.
Yes.
that affect the world because it's Pluto at 24 degrees.
So where I was picking up a masculine
Yeah.
energy is because she's almost used that for her voice.
Yeah, very much so. And even, I remember her last episode when she's in that beautiful peach dress. It was literally her last episode. And she even said, you know, I've done hundreds of programs around sexual abuse, child abuse, and she said it's something I'll never stop talking about. And here's a woman that closed that show after 25 years in her 60s.
Yeah.
She'll never stop talking about it. Yeah? And then we look at, why did she become the queen of talk shows? Any idea? When we think of the MC, the pivotal point in the chart where you want to be seen in the world, understood in the world, it's because her Mercury is at 17 degrees, which is reflective of 5 degrees, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. So the 17th, 5th degree represents Leo. Leo is associated with royalty, and she was the queen of talk shows.
So can you just tell me, what is the MC again?
Oh, right. The medium coli. So it's the point in the chart. It's usually in the 10th, maybe sometimes the 11th house. It's the point in the chart where one is looking for career projection. And the sign on the 10th house will give you the way that you will approach your career. Okay? So it's how the world sees you, you see it, in terms of the place you are cultivating in the world. Yeah? All of us have an MC. She uses her voice in the world, yeah, for her career that resonates right around the world. Jupiter. In Gemini. Gemini is a sign of communication. Remember Kemi? Oh no, none of you were. I think you were here. Kemi described, you know, she has Gemini. And we were saying, she's got Gemini, I've got Mercury in Virgo, and Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, and Mercury is exalted here in Aquarius. So somebody like Kemi will go out, gather. Oprah speaks to the whole world. She gathers all this information from around the world, issues from around the world. Naturally, it's Jupiter, so she does it. It's in abundance. Yeah. Plus, where you have, here are wonderful signatures in charts, where you have Jupiter trining the Sun, the Moon, Venus. These are signs for riches. Okay? She uses her natural talents in the 2nd house to go to work in the field of communications, yeah, and she projects that into the world. And the world signature is in her MC. She's the queen, yeah, and it's also reflected by Jupiter in Gemini. Yeah. How can we tell that she advocates for justice?
Where's her Libra?
Brilliant. There's her Libra. Her Libra. Yeah, amazing. Right, Nora. When did I read that one?
Scales.
Yeah, the scales. She uses her voice to advocate for justice around the world.
Yes.
Venus rules Libra.
Yeah.
It also rules, or she also rules Taurus. But the distinction here is harmony, it's peace, it's about bringing people together. It is about justice. And where you have Jupiter trining Libra, there is a sense of the rightfulness of things. the order of things. So where you have Venus trining the sign it rules is another indication of her advocating justice. It's conjunct, Venus is conjunct the Sun for women. She does it for men as well, but women. And then we've got the Moon, which is sextiling this again. It's another signature. And the fact that the Moon sextiles this kicks off the trine. So there's a lot of feminine energy, and she uses the masculine, what you felt was masculine energy. She, you know, has challenged the patriarchy in very powerful ways, in very transformative ways.
But she's had to be pretty strong to do that.
Yeah. She really has. She really, really has. And here's another wonderful signature. How can we tell that she is a natural healer? A shaman even. We have the North Node and Chiron in her first house. So the North Node is your Dharma for this life. Yeah? South Node would be opposite, so let's just put the South Node point here. So South Node would be the opposite. This is where you've come from in the past. Yeah? So she came from a very maternal feeling, sensitive past, because her South Node is there. And in this life, it's about gaining the authority, bringing the qualities of the South Node to fuel her North Node to be an authority. And the reason being is because they're both placed in her first house in Capricorn. And Capricorn is about authority. Yeah? And it's her North Node. And the way that she would dispense her authority is for the collective, and that's shown by the 23 degree signature. Chiron is the wounded healer. She was wounded. Yeah? She was wounded in her home environment. It's opposite. Yeah? She was wounded. As a result of the wounds, Chiron is where we are called to heal. It's conjunct her North Node. It's a calling, it's her Dharma, it's where she, in this life, would really grow. And she has done that throughout her life, using her voice for the collective. How could we tell that if she got married, she possibly would get divorced? And she's even said it. How can we tell?
That was just one bit of inspiration. I haven't got no more tonight.
Okay. How can we tell? Okay, the 7th house is the house of marriage, house of relationships, house of close relationships, intimate relationships, could be business relationships, could be politics. How can we tell? It's because Uranus is in the 7th house. Now, it could signal that if somebody has Uranus in the 7th house, it is a suggestion they may get divorced. Yeah? But you'd have to look at the whole chart. She's always said, if Stedman and I ever got married, we would be divorced by now. She said it countless times. But how can we tell that she and he require freedom in their relationship and still have the trappings of marriage?
Is it something to do with the South Node being in the 7th house?
Oh, that's a really good connection. So Uranus is where we want to break free. So The South Node, it's the security of home.
Okay, so the only reason why I said that is because I thought if the South Node is in the 7th house, then it could have possibly been her karma that she was trapped in marriages in previous lifetimes, so she has free from her karma. In this
exactly.
lifetime.
And with Uranus there, it's about breaking free, rebelling from the past. But how can we tell, actually, this is speculation obviously, that she requires freedom, but likes the security of a long-term relationship.
Is it because of her Cancer?
Right, so Cancer's home, breaking free, past. Now Cancer's water, we have to come here to Scorpio. And we have in Scorpio Mars and Saturn. So, let's get the green one. So we have Mars is trining Uranus and the South Node. But let's drop the South Node because she's really strong in her North Node. So picking up on Bunzi, it is the breaking free. She needs freedom in relationships. But it's a trine, so it suggests that, and Mars represents her masculine energy, but also the man in her life. So actually, both of them enjoy a stable relationship where there's a freedom, but there's a security of knowing. Why? Because Saturn is there. It doesn't form a trine and it doesn't form a conjunction, but the fact that Saturn is trining the house of home, there's a resonance there. And they've had a very, very long, it's trine, harmonious relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was a quincunx, if it was a square, there would be tension.
Okay.
Yeah? But it's a trine. So it's a suggestion. Saturn's about security. Yeah?
Yeah.
Mars is trining. Mars Uranus, you know, there you've got the sense of assertion, but it could be like silent power, you know, because it's in water. So it could be the deep currents of emotions. It's water. Saturn is in water. Remember, Saturn is structure. It's concrete, it's solidity, it's in water. So symbolically it's talking about the same thing, but there's a softening of it because it's in water. Yeah? And it's trining this sense of freedom. So where you have Saturn, although it's not trining, although the planets aren't trining, I'm talking about the signs are trining. So there's this harmonious flow that actually, for both of them to coexist, long-term, happily, it's a trine. What else is there? What did I come up with? How did I describe her to reconcile? So let's see how she has been able to reconcile her triad. So her triad, so, oh here we go, I thought I wrote it up there. So we've got her triad. So when you're reconciling the triad, you're pulling it into the sun. Yeah, because the sun is your identity. So it's going to be led by. So she has reconciled her triad because she has the moon having a mass impact on the world, caring, nourishing, nurturing, protecting. It's in Sagittarius. It's sextiling her sun, the other part of the triad. She has used her natural gifts to build a fortune and a name and a presence in the world. So that's been satisfied. She's lived out her dharma because she is the mother of the world. isn't she? She's the mother of the emotional world. Yeah. Her dharma was about healing and compassion, and she said several times, the reason why I can do what I can do is because of the trauma I've been through, so I can have deep compassion when I'm dealing with other people, because she's literally walked in their shoes. Certainly around, you know, the sexual abuse. And then, so we have the ascendant, happy. She lives virtually right around the world through her message. The sun is at 9 degrees, another signature of whoever she is will impact the world. 9 degrees equals Sagittarius. It's going to be a Sagittarian flavour to what she does around the world. Venus is at 8 degrees, Scorpio. Yeah, so femininity has been challenged in some way. Yeah? Around, you know, strongly held desires, which is ruled by Pluto and Mars. So the moon's satisfied, the sun is satisfied, 9 degrees, and she's used her voice, although Mercury isn't part of the triad, she has used her voice to advocate for this. So I came up with a way to describe it, and I'm just trying to think which way round did I put it. Right, so she is the truth teller. Yeah, the truth teller with the soul of the student wearing the mask of the philosopher.
My goodness. And so true.
Yeah? She's the truth teller with the soul of the student wearing the mask of the philosopher. And through her life, she's always educating herself. She uses, you know, she said if she wasn't on TV, she would be a teacher. And she's always a student of life. She said it on countless occasions. That's how she identifies herself. She speaks the truth about taboo subjects. And as a result of gathering all of life's experiences, we come back to the 12th house, it's in Sagittarius, she philosophizes about life. That's her journey.
And when you say the mask, is that like the
ascendant, yeah? So when I talk about the mask, that's the ascendant. So we've got the mask, we have the moon, which equals the soul, yeah? And the sun is you, the core identity, yeah? So it's the truth teller, the person, yeah? With the soul, because the moon backs the sun, yeah? With the soul of the student, forever learning. Her ascendant is at 29 degrees 41 of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the guru, the teacher, and the philosopher. Yeah? Any questions, Lee? I stunned silence tonight, man. There's a silence.
It's powerful.
Any questions about our beautiful Oprah?
Does she know her chart? Just asking.
I don't know, she probably.
So, in a way, do you feel like her chart answers her life? Because she would have done this anyway, but knowing why would be
The
very
why,
helpful,
yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah. Because as I said last week, what's great about doing high profile people is because we have a sense of who they are, we've seen them live it out. And so me pulling apart a chart that helps you see the person in all of their guises. That's the reason why I've done it this way. And in answering Bansi's question last week when she said, well, my parents would say, you see, they were meant to do this. And I said in terms of when you unpack it like this, then yes. Yeah?
Where's her love? Where's...
Oh, okay. So her love for women into men. Sorry, the symbols are Mars and Jupiter. Mars or Jupiter. Yeah. Yeah. Mars or Jupiter. Mars, and for men into women, you'd look at their Venus and Moon, and then if it's same-sex relationships, you look at the same sex. So for her love, it's Stedman, as we know. So, you know, he's a powerful figure behind the scenes, and yet in his own right. Yeah, because if we look at it this way, Jupiter is also known the symbol for the man, particularly in Vedic astrology, and Mars is more associated with Western astrology.
A question.
Yes.
Sorry, you just said about that same sex. So, can you tell by a chart if somebody is likely to be with the same sex?
Not definitively. Some astrologers have said if you've got Venus and Mars together, maybe. Some astrologers say they are Venus and Mars in Aquarius. I was reading somewhere, and it was talking about Australia, and they were talking about there are a lot of gay people in Australia, particularly men. And they were talking about the fact that wherever they were in Australia, had a lot of Aquarian energy. Yeah, had a lot of Aquarian energy. So I can't answer that definitively. I can't answer that definitively. Any other questions about Miss O?
Do you feel like she's fully realised herself that because she's a lifelong learner, she's going to keep...
She's going to keep on and on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah. She says she wants to... What's that Bill Withers song? Use me up. Dun, 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 dun. So she wants her life to be used.
Yeah.
And squeezed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, to the last drop. And given that her ascendant is in Sagittarius, she's a seeker. Lifelong learner.
She really is.
Yeah. Real seeker of knowledge and life.
Yeah, she doesn't stop, does she?
No. No. And given she has a stellium here in the second house, whatever she does, as we've seen, has to be connected deeply with her values. She's a values-driven person, and the signature is accented even more because Venus is about values, and Venus is in the house it naturally rules. It just happens to be Aquarius on the sign, on this sign, but it would ordinarily here in the natural chart would be Taurus. So she really, and she's very fixed about her values. She's got Venus at 8 degrees. 8 degrees is Scorpio. Scorpio is a fixed sign.
Sorry, what do you mean by that? You said natural?
Right, so just imagine this wasn't Oprah's chart and it was just a natural chart. So the beginning of the astrological year, Aries, Taurus. So if you imagine this is, I'll keep this one. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. So when we're going through the zodiac, you start at Aries. So this would be a natural chart. Aries, Taurus, blah, 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 until you get here. So if we were to position the planets as if it was a natural chart, they would be in the signs that they rule. So Aries, you'd have Mars there. Mars is the ruler of Aries, okay? You would have Mars there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Mars there. Here, Venus. We've already got Venus in there. Gemini, we would have Mercury. Cancer, we'd have the Moon. Leo, we have the Sun. Oops. Virgo, we have Mercury. Libra, Venus again. Scorpio, we have Pluto's there already, and then we just add Mars. Sagittarius, we have Jupiter. Capricorn, we have Saturn. Capricorn, we have Saturn. Aquarius, we have Uranus, plus, yeah, we have Uranus. Oh, and Saturn. Saturn's the ancient ruler. So that's how the planets would be laid out in a natural chart. But obviously all of us took our first breath at different times. So at the moment we took our first breath, the planets were swirling around. And it's like, that gives us the configuration.
I have a general question.
Yes,
not
please.
necessarily related to like this chart, but to anyone's chart. So if somebody wasn't to basically fulfill their like actual soul potential based on their birth chart, right? Do you think that they would feel a sense of unfulfillment, or would that depend on their level of consciousness in that lifetime?
Fantastic question, and just think about your own life. All of us, just think about our own lives.
Yeah.
When we've been deeply unhappy, completely unfulfilled, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
You know, so I have Sagittarius rising, so I'm a real seeker in the world. And so I've got a real zest for life, and there have been times when my core, I'm a very happy, optimistic person, and that happiness, my happiness, has been compromised when I've been pushing boulders up mountains I should never have been on in the first place.
Hear that.
It's true!
Hear that, hear that.
The lashes, tugs
Hear that.
and blows
Oh my God.
came thick and fast.
Yeah. Wrong mountain, mate. It's like your
Yeah, but it's true. But, yeah. And actually, in life, our job is to pick the right mountain.
Yeah.
How many times have you been on a mountain you should never have been
None
on?
of my business, honestly.
None.
The blows.
The blows. The blows. So that's a fantastic question, because the natal chart is about making the unconscious conscious.
Yeah.
And when we have those illumined moments, something has triggered it. We're beginning to wake up. A scenario, a situation, a person, a book, a film, a sonnet, something. You go into work one day and you just wait and you just say, what am I doing here? You're in bed with, quotes, your loved one, you turn around and think, what am I doing here? How did we arrive at this? The choices we made, the compromises, a step too far, the drudgery that we feel, the melancholy that we feel in our lives, and then we equally know when we've come alive, because our child, our inner child, is like, yippee, yeah. Whereas my inner Bybreen is very much you know, my 7-year-old is very much my 55-year-old. I don't hide her. I don't know, shh, quiet. It's like, no, really need to be floating and flying. But I'm quite unconventional. I'm really comfortable in living who I naturally am. So I'm quite a contrarian. I struggle in straitjackets. You know, I walk in the world and I describe myself as an astrologer and a geek. And a writer, and people are like, what have we got here? But that's okay, because I need to be visible to the people who need me. I don't like sweeping things under the carpet, shush, shush, quiet, quiet. Yeah? We know when we betray ourselves, do we not? How many times have we done it? And so part of my dharma, and what I've made a commitment to myself, is I do not commit any more crimes against my conscience and my soul. There are no more crimes against my soul. No more. And it has been like that for many, many years. It's like, I can't do that. If I do, I'm going to commit a crime against my soul. And we all have those moments. So, yeah, you imagine this fantastic chart, which she's had her challenges, or any chart that has a configuration. Think of Victoria Beckham's chart. You know, let's say, for example, she stayed in a group. She would have died. The group identity was killing her son. I think her son is conjunct Chiron. It was wounding her. And then it was sextiling the group. It was wounding her. Or was it squaring? There's one of them. It was wounding her. And she has the sun in the 10th house. She's got to be her own boss. Can't be part of the group forever and ever. So I think one of the beauties of astrology is it enables one to connect with the energies of who they are. Yeah? What it does, it's like there's parts of my chart that are still I haven't lived out fully, so that's in the next iteration of my life, meaning I have Jupiter in a particular place, and my Jupiter's retrograde. A retrograde Jupiter is great. It means that, you know, from where I am now forward, things are just, and even over the last few years, the way my life has transformed, it's fantastic. I can see it. And all I'm doing is stepping away, or I stepped away, from what I've either outgrown, no longer serves me, and consciously building a new life around the things that are meaningful to me. 20 years ago, who would have thought you could make a life for yourself as a YouTuber? It was, you know, the world has changed, and great that it has. So when one connects with their chart, it's about understanding your cycles. When do you wake up? When is your spring? When is your summer? When is your autumn? When is your winter? And that's why, you know, Kemi and I have had these conversations, and I remember she asked me something once. And I said, that's none of your damn business. Focus on yourself. Yeah? Because we can be so busy. And what about, am I, and do you know? Comparing, looking. What about, do you know what I mean? So
Such
busy.
a distraction.
And once you understand, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
here's how I get in my way. Yeah?
Question.
Yes.
Do you do personal readings then?
I certainly do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Because obviously this is amazing to be able to go into this, but then I was just thinking, like, how do I take this like further in terms of that, what you're talking about, that understanding?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and being a bit more conscious of your own
Rhythms. Cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very powerful.
And I need to climb that mountain.
That's
Well, climb your own mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like leaning your ladder against the wrong house.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
same
that's
thing.
what I'm
Yeah.
painting.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that?
Start all over again.
Seriously.
But we can just look at all the landmines When we're unconscious, we keep stepping on our own landmines. And then when it blows off our foot, let me sip again.
So I've got another foot.
Yeah.
So I've got two.
Yeah.
Just rest it up a little bit.
Yeah. Just rest that one. It'll get. Do you know what I mean?
Can't be that bad.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
Yeah.
no.
Then you go, yeah.
Right.
Oh, perhaps it was just meant to be.
Oh God.
Yeah. So
Pain and suffering.
you know, our cycles are really. It's about respecting our individual cycles. You know, you can. You know, the description I gave about Oprah, the truth teller. Yeah.
Honestly.
With the soul of the student, yeah, wearing the mask of the philosopher. Now let's say this chart isn't Oprah, but that description, giving a client that type of description, you can see now how they can really throw open their lives.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm the truth teller
Yeah.
with the soul of the student. And once I've learned and imbibed and taken it in and transformed, I can then philosophize. How powerful! That's how you begin to build a narrative for somebody's life.
Yeah.
Can you see from that chart,
Yes.
like, what is she destined to do other big things?
Brilliant question. She's now an actress. How can we tell she's an actress? Neptune is conjuncting her MC. Neptune rules movies,
Yeah.
photography. It's a higher octave of Venus. It's in the 10th house.
Yeah.
Illusion, fantasy, the entertainment industry. And then again, I haven't looked at any transits. I have, the 3 charts I've done, I've literally just analysed and told a relatively accurate reflection of their narrative based literally just on the planets and the degrees. I haven't looked at solar returns, I haven't looked at progressions, I haven't looked at transits, nothing. So the transits would bring it to where it is today.
Yeah.
You know, this is moving through. Oh, okay. So if that trines that, this is a favourable time. If it squares that, it's going to be a bit of a combustion. There's an opposition. Something from the outside world might come to wake you up when you're still sleeping, and you know you're on the wrong mountain. You need to get off the mountain. When you're still climbing the mountain that you're not meant to be on, something will wake you up, yeah? Or you could have Uranus. So currently Uranus is in Taurus, and it's going to be there for the next 7 years. You know, Uranus is the awakener. When you're comatose and the lashes keep coming, and you become immune to the lashes, right? You become, yes?
So the thick skin comes in.
Yeah, you become immune to the lashes. Uranus will rock up and will wake you up in some way.
So Uranus is the awaker.
The awakener.
Awakener.
Yeah?
So that, you're saying that's like, there's now a 7-year
Yeah.
cycle of that journey with
Yes.
this planet.
Yes. Any other questions, ladies? No?
Well, me personally, I feel quite full.
Fancy?
I'm questioned out.
Good question, that. Karina?
Okay.
Ruby?
Have we done this like really quickly? It's just like, it seems to have gone really quick. Is that a question? Is that a statement? I don't know.
We started at about 10
Oh
to.
my
It
goodness.
feels quite complete though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's com- yes, it's complete. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it for this session. For
Thank you.
So we can follow you on YouTube then?
You can indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bybreen, do you want to talk to us a little bit about the readings that you do and what services?
Yes, I do. Okay, could you turn off, please? Yes, Karina. Because we have Nancy who
Turned it on.
turned it on.
And if she didn't, she's about to run out.